Here's your Alabama WX Sunday morning weather video for this Sunday. It's the 17th of September. I'm meteorologist Bill Murray, and as I record this just after midnight on Saturday night, early Sunday morning, the storms are finally moving into the I-85 corridor, which is good because we've already gotten the Auburn game out of the way. They didn't have to deal with any weather delays. UAB was not quite so lucky at Protective Stadium. Pretty impressive storm blew in there right before the second quarter began and had a lengthy rain delay there. Lots of lightning in the area, some very heavy rain, some flooding in downtown Birmingham, also a little bit of flooding in northern Shelby County as well from those storms ahead of a cold front that is now moving through north central Alabama. Some patchy fog developing across the area this evening. That will continue to continue into the morning. Some fog, low clouds across the area. Taking a look at what's going on across the nation early on this Sunday morning, we see a big trough moving through the Great Lakes. That's what's bringing the weather to Alabama. There's some cloudiness there through Ohio, down to the Ohio Valley. You see that thin line of clouds now approaching the Birmingham area. That's your front right there. Temperature dropped to 66 degrees this past hour at Muscle Shoals, and we'll see dew points in the 50s especially when the main front, which is back here somewhere near St. Louis, some showers and thunderstorms there over Missouri will sort of fall apart before they move through here. That front's going to move through Alabama later tonight, Sunday night, giving us some drier and cooler air for much of the week ahead. Here's the upper pattern across North America, showing a big trough of low pressure there in the Great Lakes over Illinois, Indiana, Michigan. That'll be progressing on to the east as we go through time. Heading off the east coast there Monday night into Tuesday. Pressures remain a little low over Alabama, but slowly build as we go through time. Something develops there, according to the GFS, by late in the week into the weekend. That could be a little bit of a tropical system. We'll watch that very closely. And that will move up into the southeastern United States. Again, ridge to the east, ridge to the west, Alabama with a bit of a trough. But it's going to be a pretty week, a dry week across Alabama with fairly warm, relatively seasonable temperatures. We see showers and thunderstorms there, mainly to the east. A few showers over southeast Alabama this morning. They'll be moving out. As the main front gets here, could be a few showers to our north over Tennessee. I think they stay there, though. Don't move into Alabama. We're dry on Monday, dry on Tuesday, dry on Wednesday. Matter of fact, as far as the foreseeable future is, Alabama remains mainly dry. There's that system developing by Friday off the southeast coast. It'll be interesting to see if that really happens. The GFS spins it up into South Carolina, sort of bouncing like a pinball along the coast there. But we get through the weekend dry here, continuing into the week 2 period. GFS presents that we might see some sort of tropical development again in the western Gulf there around the 28th and 29th. We've been seeing a lot of different looks on that. The week 2 period, which we call voodoo territory here in Alabama, though, shows more in the way of showers and thunderstorms. And the fall equinox is on the 23rd, early in the morning hours on the 23rd. And we see some signs of fall as we go through time. Say western Canada, some snow. And some of that moves into Idaho, the northern Rockies there, western Wyoming, Montana, parts of Washington, there by October 1st, and the march of the seasons continues. Temperatures over the national. Oh, I'm sorry. This information is just incorrect. We got to see what's going on here. National Blended Models. That run is just not quite right. This looks more like it. Temperatures there in the 80s across central Alabama. It's going to look like this. We'll be down in the 50s, especially the northern half of the state, Monday morning, Tuesday morning, right around 60, some upper 50s to the north. High temperatures will be fairly uniform through the week ahead, though. Will be in the lower to middle 80s. This is the GFS looking over the Atlantic Basin this morning. This is what's left of Hurricane Lee. Became a tropical storm, post-tropical storm yesterday, moved through, actually made landfall there near the western tip of Nova Scotia, moving through the St. Lawrence, through St. Lawrence Lake Seaway. I forget what it's called, but they're in area of the Maritime Provinces. This right here is Nigel, named overnight, and this is Margot. A tropical storm that's going to be moving near the Azores, but weakening as it goes. Now, I think Nigel, will be a hurricane probably by tomorrow, could become a major hurricane, could undergo some periods of or at least one period of rapid intensification. It will pass well to the east of Bermuda. They're around Tuesday night into Wednesday, still a very strong and formidable hurricane, then turning out to sea, moving ahead of the trough there off the east coast of the United States. Be watching a tropical wave there that move off the coast of Africa during the middle of the week. You see it right here. We do think it probably develops somewhere in this area, begins to move on out. This is your system here developing a kind of a homegrown close-in system there off the southeastern Atlantic coast. You see how it kind of comes together and pushes into Savannah or Charleston there, and then out toward the end of the period. Remember, we were seeing something developing on the GFS over the western Gulf of Mexico. We'll kind of see how that goes. Had a lot of fun this week at the National Weather Association, last week at the National Weather Association. We were live from several places at NWA Monday night. We were live from the Weather Service Mixer, and from James Adelot was reporting live from the Broadcasters Dinner. So quite a fun time at NWA. Of course, it's the greatest weekend weather. Always a fun time that we look forward to. We'll have that show is already, of course, released into the wild. Monday night, tomorrow night, we'll be talking to John Smith, hydrologist from the Southeastern River Forecast Center, talking about the life and work and the job and role of a hydrologist. WeatherBrain's weekly netcast is all about weather. Get it wherever you get your podcast, or on YouTube, or at weatherbrains.com. Well, that's your weather video for the Sunday morning, the 17th of September. I'll have notes on the blog, complete update on the forecast coming up before noon. We'll update you on anything that changes in the tropics or in Alabama's weather. And James will be back with 2-a-days tomorrow. Scott will be here next Saturday. I'll see you Sunday. And when I get to do that, and until I do, as I always tell you, keep an eye to the sky, because you'll always have something fun to look at.